Hey, what's up, guys? We're so grateful to have you tune in tonight. Tonight is just going to be really a candid conversation. Welcome to Unmuted with PG. Y'all know this kind of been our virtual platform we've been using during this COVID pandemic to just kind of share different things with you. It's been an incredible opportunity. We've used it to do sermon stuff. We've used it for a vaccine update and information. And also, as we've kind of used it in some counseling perspectives, as we've really been trying our best to stay connected and to reach out to each and every one of you. Well, once again, tonight is important. And today, whenever you view this particular conversation, Unmuted with PG, I just want to have some of our staff come on, because guess what? This weekend is homecoming. That's right. We're finally reopening the doors of the Tabernacle Baptist Church. That's right. It is homecoming. That's right. It is a huge time for us to come back after such a lengthy amount of time. That's right. Last time we gathered together corporately in-person worship, it was March, second Sunday of March, 2020. Wow. Here we are. First Sunday of October 2021, and we just feel it's the right time to do it. So I want to bring some of our staff on, excited as we do. And we're just going to have a candid conversation tonight. I hope that you tune in, share this wherever you are. We got Reverend Z with us tonight, and so all the work that she's been doing, I want to give her a major shout out. She's going to really kind of update us on a lot of logistical things that we have. We also got Reverend Woods. That's right, the handyman himself. That's right, he's on the mend. He's been getting himself healthy, so we're excited to have him back and rocking with us. And the professor, that's right, Dr. Trey McLaughlin is with us tonight, Director of Worship and Arts, the maestro himself. And so we're just here as leadership of our church to share and just have a candid conversation tonight about a lot of things we do. It's homecoming, y'all. How y'all feeling? Z, how you feeling? Trey, how you feeling? Reverend Woods, how are you feeling about everything going on?
I'm excited, Pastor. Hey, Reverend Z, hey, Brother Trey. I'm excited, Pastor. Homecoming. Hey, it's been a long journey, man. We've been working hard at it, but I'm really excited that we have opportunity to open up to the general public and just let people come back into the house of God and just worship God, man. And just so I'm excited. I'm really excited.
How you feeling, Trey? What's up? What you feeling, man? How you feeling about everything?
I'm glad to have people in the house. It's gonna be nice to feel their energy and be back to some form of normal. Wow. Something.
Mm-hmm. Z, how you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm really excited. I know people have been ready to come back and be in the house of worship, and we've been preparing all summer to do it. And so I just, am anticipating that everything, amen, is going to be
That's been the piece. And so that's why we're coming tonight. Matter of fact, those who are still interested in registering, you have till midnight tonight. And I wanted to raise that because I know this is going to be a real major culture shift. When we thought about coming back, homecoming is huge. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. Y'all know I ride and die with 336. And so my hometown got North Carolina A&T State University, right? And so they call themselves GHO, the greatest homecoming on earth. But so many of our schools had to cancel homecoming because of the pandemic. We still are in the midst of it. We're still trudging through this thing. And truth be told, I'm no longer calling it a pandemic. I'm calling it endemic. And you realize the difference after a while. And so there's so many things that are different. When you think about homecoming, it's going back to be around people that you love, people that you haven't seen in a while. It's going back to a space that is familiar, but it's still going to be a little different, right? So for many of us who went back to homecoming, your own school, things have changed since you last left. And so that's really what we want to prepare people for, to have this candid conversation. We have so many of you who have already registered to come. We're starting with 4 services. We got 7:15 at our main location, 9 o'clock at our west location, 10:30 at our main location, and 12:30 at our west location. And people ask, Pastor, how do we come up with doing it that way? Why just 4? Well, remember, before COVID, we were at 5 services, 2 locations. We just signed an agreement to start our 6th service, which was going to be a Saturday service at our 3rd location. Then COVID hit. So as we've been just trying to navigate this, when COVID came, we had to kind of make some adjustments. We had to shrink our service times, service sizes. One of the things we had that was unique, and Trey and our team really had to work through, we had to consolidate our worship teams, and we had 2 different bands and 2 different, both of our locations. So we really had to, the last 18 months, had to try to figure out what works in the global space. And I want to give a shout out to our team, man, to Trey, Worship and Arts, to Malcolm and the others who do multimedia, man. I mean, it was a tough pivot. It was not an easy pivot, but they really stepped up and really managed the moment. And I think we did some really great stuff. I mean, to have the kind of growth that we have, the product and the experience that I think that we really try to capture. Every week was a learning experience, right? We had to learn some things. What worked even from a preaching standpoint, and I'm still trying to navigate it, what kind of preaching style works in the global space and other things. So, but we worked through it and we got through it. So now coming back, we had to sit down and think what could work. We have two vibrant campuses, two different campuses, right? Facility wise, demographic wise. And so one of the things we wanted to come back to, and we're really in the unknown, you know, we're trying our best. We did a survey last May, gave us some good numbers, some good idea, but we just don't know till we get out there. So we said, what'll be a good opportunity for us to try? So we sat down and thought through it and said, let's try 4. 4 would be it. I have no clue, Z. I don't know if that's too much or too little. I really don't know. Because with the protocols, we're operating at less capacity than we normally would. Yeah. I mean, that's just truth about where we are and how we're navigating that. And so we try to figure out a way that we can accommodate our congregation, those that want to come back and want to experience Tabernacle in person. I'm sitting up here sweating. I don't even know what's going on. And that's how anxious I am for this weekend. And to see how that works. So Trey, how you feeling from a worship perspective as we're talking through what it been? What's your hope that people will gather and glean from coming back to Tab? I mean, they've been seeing you and rocking with you last 18 months. What do you hope from your perspective, worship and arts, for our remerge, our homecoming?
I'm praying that people will bear with us as we figure out what it's gonna mean for worship and arts. I think a lot of people are super excited to come back and experience it in person, but I think they're also super excited to participate. And the guidelines are a little different from coming in, sitting in a room versus coming in and singing without a mask. So I'm hoping that they will give us their wonderful excitement and energy, be a part of our experience, but also bear with us as we kind of figure out what that means in terms of participating with worship and art. So I'm hoping that people will give us a little bit of grace, at least starting out, to just kind of figure this thing out and figure out what the logistics will mean going forward.
When you're saying participate, you're not saying that when they come, they can't worship, right? You're not saying we want their full energy in the service. Now, even though there's going to be protocols, we have face mask on, and yes, face mask will be required, no doubt, even if you're vaccinated. Face mask will be required throughout the duration of worship, but you can still stand. You can still worship. You can still sing along.
Lift your hand,
you know,
all those things. But in terms of, I've been getting a lot of people reaching out just about participating in the choir and all those kinds of things, and that's something that we still are waiting. One, we're taking the lead of the CDC in terms of what is acceptable and what is socially acceptable in terms of singing and gatherings of people. So I just want people to just be patient with us. But yes, please bring all your worship.
Yeah. Also, and that's a critical question that you raised too, Trey, because these are some of the questions we get to. Because, you know, before the pandemic, or now, which is the endemic, happened, you know, we really were very intentional to make sure that our young people were involved. We had a Sunday that was set aside for our young people that we want them to participate. You know, we even, you know, really try to do our best for youth church and those things to have them participate in worship. But as we come back in this homecoming and remerge for the duration of 2021, there's some things that we had to kind of phase in at a later time. And one of those is allowing our young people to participate, which was hard. That was a hard conversation we had to have. I know many people look forward to seeing our young people participate on the Sunday. But at this time, we see them as a real vulnerable demographic. And that was just hard for us to kind of deal with. So for those who asking, you know, I'm ready for my kid to sing in the youth choir and those kind of things, you know, Trey, what would you say? How would you, you know, as we've had to kind of walk through that and talk through that, what's some of your thoughts?
Definitely. Our goal is to keep everyone safe, adults and youth, but it's even worse. At least with adults, we can make decisions to get vaccinated or whatever we want to do in that sense. But with kids, it's a lot different. And then we're also dealing with the dynamic of their parents. So even if someone so has been cleared to have the vaccination or whatever, doesn't mean their parents are going to want them to have it. So it was really tough for us to not be able to have our team component. Even with our dance teams, it's just been very difficult to not have that added component. And we even had some parents express to us when we did reach out about trying to possibly do some things to video for our virtual service. Some parents expressed their discomfort with bringing their children back into that type of public setting just yet. I would continue to ask the parents to be patient, that we're not turning our back on the kids. It's not that we don't want them up there, but we have to keep them safe. Like, we have to make sure that that's our top priority. So as soon as we can figure out a way to do that safely, and we've definitely been putting our heads together to try to figure that out, we will. But we also need feedback from the parents in terms of those who used to participate. If you're okay with that and you are okay with your child being involved, I definitely need to know that, so that we just know what we're working with, and we know the demand, the need, and people's comfort level with coming back to some form of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. And I want that to be heard. I mean, we've really been trying to navigate this time period in a way that we can be as safe as possible. And we love the kids. You know, Tab loves the kids, PG loves the kids, Trey loves the kids. And I hate that would perhaps some people assume that, you know, because we've had to kind of omit at the initial stages of our reopening and remerging youth component. And that was a very hard and tough thing that we had to come to an agreement with. We could not find people who could just kind of ensure in safe way because it's more than just what happens on Sunday. You have to prepare for Sunday, right? Y'all have to do protocols at your rehearsals, right, Trey? I mean, y'all are still going through safety protocols in your rehearsal. So it's not just getting people to the stage on Sunday, and I need people to really hear this, is that we also need people to know that a lot of the work is pre-Sunday. The rehearsals, the preparations, and those things have to be monitored. And so that becomes a very difficult thing as well. And so thank you, Trey, for sharing that. I think a lot of people don't think about that aspect of worship, but we just don't show up on Sunday and just go through the motions, right? We have to make sure that we're sharing. And with that being said, Z, I know you've been very instrumental, and I want to give a hats off to you, been very instrumental in really affecting our protocols, logistics, from a ministry standpoint. We've been practicing since around June. You know, we've really been working through protocols. Shout out to our servant leaders and selected persons who came in during the summer month and over the last month of really trying to help us with the protocols. You know, I know it was a major culture shift for people when it comes to our protocols. It's different. You know, those of you who experienced TAB pre-COVID, what I've always said, especially in this remerge, is three things: be prayerful, be patient, and be positive. We're going to still try to provide a tabernacle experience, but it is going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to be different in how we do church and how church is kind of moved and how we progress. So Z, I really want you to speak to those, you know, who are really thinking, you know, about volunteerism and figuring out that process. How can I get involved? You know, that's going to be a really critical question that many people are asking. What would you say to those who are thinking that way?
That's a great question, Pastor. Also coordinates with what Ms. Anderson asked in the chat. So there are ministries that are active on Sunday. So our goal was to get Sunday up and running. So not all our ministries, because we have a lot of ministries at Tabernacle. So in order for us to kind of focus on Sunday and getting Sunday up, we pretty much did a beeline to what ministries we really need to essentially be open. And so those ministries were our guest services, our safety, our culinary. Hey, we have to take care of our people.
But breakfast is gone. Like, you know, I know that was a big thing for people. I need you to hear that. We just could not figure out. I know that's gonna be hard because, you know, that tabernacle breakfast was off the chain. Those of y'all experience, you know, when they said bring ye all the meat. So there's meat in my house. That's Malachi. That tab breakfast is something, and we had to stop it. You know, because our spaces, our facilities kind of limited us So that's going to be a culture shock for many people. I'm sorry, Z. I just had to, when I heard about breakfast, I know that's going to be a hard thing for some, So yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I apologize. I just wanted that to be said so people can hear it from me.
They just do refreshments. They help, make sure our those who are serving get refreshments. Amen. As they're serving to keep up their energies. Also medical, as Pastor has mentioned, worshiping arts, of course, and our audio visual ministry have all been a part of this, since we started back. So we do have ministries that are working, and what my suggestion has been to all ministries in this season is to, reassign yourself in this season. Right now, we just added back youth because we do want to focus on youth. So we're actively recruiting youth volunteers so that we can get nursery and children's church back up. And so we need help. And even with their services, watchmen, with our safety and parking, we still need help. We are really working with a limited supply of volunteers to get this started. And so we really need help. If you are interested in volunteering, the link is still up on the website. I'll also put it in the chat, so you can go straight to it and register to volunteer, and we will reach out to you. And right now we're doing with guest services. I know I'm doing training on the spot, so I'm gonna link you with somebody on that Sunday, and they're gonna walk you through the full Sunday, so you don't be feel like you're just put out there. So you won't be put out there on the spot. You will be trained by someone on spot. But we need help. We need the help. And this is not a new problem. But it's definitely something we really need.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we did learn through this is that new habits have been formed. Volunteerism is always going to be a challenge. I mean, the Bible speaks about how the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few, and we understand. And so we are so grateful for the many people who sacrificed and served. Even before COVID, with 5 services, it was a lot. And I want the people to understand and to know how much I truly appreciate each one that served in the different capacities when it comes to our church, and now through COVID, we had to kind of make some changes. We could not have a full team to serve. We had to make sure that we kept it small. We had certain guidelines and restrictions initially. And Reverend Woods was a stickler, making sure that we kept that number. Some people broke that every once in a while. We're not going to call no names, Trey McLaughlin, but we really worked hard to make sure that we kept it, as small. And I know there were many people who were like, we want to come in and come back. And I have to keep reminding people, we were in a pandemic, guys. There was a sense of disconnect we all felt. And as much as we wanted the doors open and more people to work, we couldn't, because there was no true way. And I, in no good conscience as your leader and pastor, could make sure that, that I want to make sure you were safe. So we had to do that. And that was part of the challenge. And it was hard. It was difficult. And we understand how that is and how that has been problematic, but we had to work through it. So as we go forward, we're going to still give that call. I know there are many people who have got new rhythms and routines, and many of you are still connected in Tab Global, and that's always going to be a priority. I want you to hear that we're really working hard to make sure that we can, when we talk about Remerge and Homecoming, we're trying our best not to let either one make the other one suffer. So as we learn and we've grown over these 18 months, as Tab Global has really made a tremendous impact, we're just bringing back in person, which means it's not either or, it's both and. And we're going to really work hard going forward for this hybrid model of engagement, that whichever way you come and you engage Tabernacle Baptist Church, whether through our global platforms or in person on our campuses, that we want you to have the same spirit of excellence in everything that we have to offer. But we need help. With anything, we're always going to be help. I don't think, and Z, you can answer this, I don't think we'll ever have enough help. It's a willing heart. And we're shifting, we're changing. There's some of you saying, well, I couldn't sacrifice on a Sunday. Well, we're developing global opportunities for volunteerism. We get ready to make some shifts, develop a DigiPastor for our Tab Global campus. And that's going to be great. We need people to help with social media and other aspects as we continue to grow and get larger. This is a work in process and a work in progress going forward. I want to throw this to Woods. Because another question we get is, why register? We have these protocols, and I know this is going to be a major shift for people. Tabernacle, let's be real, is a fun place, fellowship. We can be, we just had a free flowing spirit. People kind of flowed in and flowed out, get there when I want to get there, but that's not the case anymore. We had to make the difficult decision that in order for us to be able to progress forward in a safe and efficient manner, we had to register. We had to have face masks as a requirement for those in our worship spaces and on our campuses. We've had to work through what social distancing looks like within our sanctuary. So I want you to talk with us, Reverend Woods, about that process of registering. Many people are asking, why I got to register? Why I need to register for church? And I just want you to speak to that for a second.
Yeah, thank you, Pastor. Yeah, that's a great observation. Why do I have to register? Well, I'll say right off the bat, it's for contact tracing purposes. So let me just encourage everyone who's watching. One of the things I've always prided in being here at Tabernacle in Augusta with Dr. Goodman and with Tabernacle is that we're community partners. But we're also responsible community partners. So all of our information comes from the CDC. We don't get information from any place. Local, now we're able to get, galvanized information from local hospitals, but our guidance comes from the CDC, right? So one of the things we want to do as responsible community partners is to be responsible that when people come into our facilities, that we know where everyone is. We know where you're sitting. And a part of that registration process is for contact tracing. For those who may not know what that is or have not been in that type of a gathering, right, that required that means that if you sit in section 1, row 5, seat 3, then we know everyone who's sitting around you, right? And so if something happens, right, if some unfortunate incident happened, then we're able to contact you to say, hey, we just like for you to know that someone in your area, contracted COVID. And we want to be sure that you are aware of that so you can get tested yourself. And that's the responsible thing to do. And then, of course, we report those numbers to the CDC or to our local health department, and they transfer those numbers. And that's kind of how we guide that process, right? Because we want to be responsible partners in this community. And I think the reason, Pastor, that we took so long through this process, the reason I think Reverend Z and put the foot down through the summer to make sure we had our processes right so that we could certainly keep everyone safe.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I will piggyback on that as well. It's not just also, and I think the primary reason is contact tracing. We need to be responsible community partners. And at the end of the day, we always made that something we say we do. We believe in the community. We're a community partner. That's the reason why we took so long to open back up. There were other opportunities we could have done it, but we did not feel it was safe based upon how our community was acting and the numbers in our community, right? But also it helps us to prepare for you. It's a different world. And that's my sermon on Sunday. It's a different world. It's a different space we're in. It's a new day. It's the next normal that we're operating in. And so before, we didn't need as many volunteers because, when we get people in, we knew how to get people in church, have church, and then let people leave church. Well, now it's a little more different. We have to man it differently. So it's not just, which I think is the primary thing, is contact tracing, but also it's so that we can prepare for you. And so we can know exactly who's going to be at each service. So we know what that looks like. Listen, I'll be honest with you guys, and we can say this as candid as possible. The biggest opponent to registering was me. I was the guy that was like, man, I'm not sure this registering is going to work. People ain't going to register. It's going to be a hindrance and a barrier. I was pushing hard. Like, I think we need to figure out another way. So listen, I'm going to tell y'all, Tab, your staff is funny because they will sometimes make me eat my words. And that's what they do. They do this all the time. They're like, all right, Pastor, you want to do it? We'll do it. So shout out to the Remerge team because they allowed me for about a few weeks to try no registration. We said we're going to try with our small group that we're working with. We're going to try no registration. And guys, let me tell you something. Nobody came. And I was just like, whoa, what happened? And this is what we found out, is that a lot of people assume that if there's no registration and they don't know if they can get in a service, many people, because we have a lot of people that travel into our church from different places throughout the CSRA and even beyond. We have people that drive a long distance. Their main thing was, Pastor, I didn't want to come and be turned away. I didn't want to come and show up to church and there be no space. See, before, you can come and we can accommodate. We can create another room, what we call our overflow. And if you just come and show up, we can create space for you. It was no big thing. We need to put chairs in the back or other places. We'll find a place to fit you. But that's before. We cannot do this at this time now. And so, man, they made me eat crow. I'm telling you, and they laughed in my face. I'm telling you, Tab, they went at me because we just figured out that initially that's not really a strong way for us to operate, because there's no way we can tell you if you get there, if there's space or not. We really don't know. That's why we're encouraging everyone. Once again, reminder, registration is open till midnight tonight. For all 4 of our services, 7:15 at Main, 9 o'clock West, 10:30 Main, and 12:30 West. And we had to do that because we just wanted to make sure that we're prepared for you, contact tracing, but also said that you can have assurance that if you have registered for the service, you can get to that service. Now, here's something else, Woods, because questions asking this. It's a different thing. Why are we having to close doors and then I only can allow them to be open when service ends? That's a little different. Before, people, once they either would come in right before the sermon, or as soon as the sermon benediction, the sermon is over, try to beeline for the thing. Why did we have to make the decision that we had to say, hey, we need to keep this closed, compact, not much movement initially when we go back? Why do we have to make that decision?
So we talked about the contact tracing, right? And so we also have a limit on our building capacity as relates to seating that you referred to, right? So we have to know where everyone is in the building. And so the reason that you register is just for contact tracing and for the seating capacity, because we're down to 1/3 of our seating. And so we're working through numbers now, right? And so we will not be at the capacity to think pre-COVID. And so once those doors are closed, then we know exactly who's in the building, from our staff to our volunteers and to every parishioner who has registered and is seated in that service. And so we can't have additional persons coming in because we don't want to go over a certain capacity, but as well as we want to know where everyone is in the building, because it's our responsibility to make sure everyone in that building remains safe when you come into the worship experience. So knowing where you are is absolutely imperative.
Absolutely. So we have to do that. It's the next normal. It's what we have to kind of work through. And here's the reality. This will have to be for the foreseeable future. Like I think that we're willing, we assess things week to week. We are, one thing that I'm very grateful for from our staff to our servant leaders is that we have got the mindset that we are adjusting and pivoting and making movements as best as possible. So the latest information we get, we're willing to change and shift. Nothing's set in stone. I was very clear with our congregation a few weeks ago when I said, hey guys, listen, the rest of the year is in pencil. We're gonna write it out and try to figure it out and figure out how we can move forward and see what's going to be the best thing for us. And then we'll just continue to make that shift and that change. And so hopefully people will rock with us. When I say that, so I see on here, there's a couple questions about total number. Like I think, so Z, this is kind of in your field, you and Woods can touch this. Why we've had to set certain numbers of groups, right? So if you register, the number would be maximum 4, or is it 5 that can be together? Right now it's 5. So we can accommodate 5 people together in a group. People may be wondering, why is that? Well, our facility, one of the things that God graced us and blessed us with, it's an incredible facility. Our main location down on Laney Walker, over 100 years old, man. It's a beautiful edifice, amazing facility. God has graced us, man. Our ancestors really did an amazing job of building and constructing this incredible house of worship. But there are limitations. It's pews. And we learned something, guys, in this process. Pews are difficult to navigate when it comes to distancing and getting people in there in a safe, effective way. And so a lot of times we just came up with the number that at maximum at this point, based upon the guidelines we have to adhere to, that a maximum of 5 people together. You got to come with your 5. And that's the grouping you have to be with. And that's just at this point to accommodate our facility, right? And that's on the lower and the balcony in both of our locations. Now here's the thing that I think we found during the registration process. And I hope that you will see that link to Zeke and put that in the comment thing. Those who haven't registered, we're going to put that link in the chat as well. When you are sent the registration, let me go and say this as well. Staff registers. I register every single week. I have to register for every single service. That's right. Me, PG, Trey got to register. All of us have to register. And I understand it gets laborious. I know what it's like. I go ahead and do mine, get it out the way. As soon as I get my link, I go ahead and register. You know, I want to make sure that I'm accounted for, even though I'll be moving and back and forth to do the services. I make sure that I am accounted for. So it's not something we're just trying to impose on others. It's something that we're doing ourselves. Everyone on staff and stuff has to register. But here's the question. And I think Z and we found this out, that this is going to be a shift too, because you can't really choose your seats. And that's another kind of radical shift. Z, what have you seen? Because I know there have been, you know, I mean, there's some optimal seats in church, you know, where people want to sit and where people have been accustomed to sitting, and that's not where we can be anymore, right? It's kind of, you're going to be sat where we can sit you, and that means sometimes you're on the floor, and I know even sometimes in the balcony, and I hope, once again, go back to the original premise. We want people to be patient with us, to be positive. You know, we're trying to get you in the building. We're trying to really work through this process. And so that may mean that you won't get the perhaps seat that you want. It may mean that the seat your family has been sitting in for 40, 50 years at Tabernacle. I cannot guarantee you that seat. I really cannot. You know, we've had to get rid of all kind of assigned seatings. Our diaconate ministry, which was so used to being up front, has had to now really disperse, and other places and even ministers and stuff, that we have really no assigned seats. The only assigned seats we have, honestly, is perhaps where those who are serving on the stage, and that's that front row area. And then for our worship and arts ministry, which is really, other than that, that's all we really have space for. We're getting people in where we can get them in. So I really need you to be as kind as possible to our ambassadors who are just doing what they've been asked to do. You know, one of the things that I'm really challenging our ambassadors and all of our servant leaders and those who are serving, we're going to try our best to really operate with radical hospitality. You know, we believe in that. We're going, you know, we have zero tolerance. We want you to know that the experience, we understand how much different it's going to be. So we want you to enjoy the experience. If you're going to get up out of your bed and come down to the Tabernacle, whichever campus you are, and put your face mask on and adhere to protocols, we're going to try our absolute best to give you the best experience, not just from the stage, but from the parking lot to the sanctuary. That's what we have been really working hard for. And if anyone does not treat you the way that Tabernacle wants to treat you, let us know. The feedback is important. And our team and our staff has really been, hey guys, we need to be on it. But what I'm also asking those who are coming into the space for the first time, give us some grace. Be as positive as possible. You may not get your preference initially, right? We're ways from where we were, you know, and what was is not what can be. I'm not saying we won't ever get to that point where, and I believe that we're going to get through it, and there'll be a next normal that we'll have to adjust to in a little while. But right now it's not preference driven. We're going to be purpose driven. And so I really need you to be as kind as possible. If you don't get the seat you want to sit, and if you've been used to sitting downstairs and you have to sit upstairs, that's why that registration is important. And Z, you spoke about this because we did have some people who didn't always finish out registration. So if there are issues that you have, disabilities, there is a portion on the registration that we need you to make sure that you go ahead and fill out. Don't omit any portion. Don't omit any portion, because if we don't know you have disabilities, if you don't know that there are some challenges that you have, we don't know how to prepare for you. And if you come in and say, well, I have a disability, and we're looking on the thing and we can't see it, we need you to not be angry with us, because once again, the registration process helps us prepare for you coming. And that's really huge. So why do they need to be there early? Why is that important? To give us time to get you in, to give us time to get you in place, to give us time so that we can prepare for you. I'm always telling people it's always good that you at least show up what would you say, Reverend Woods and Reverend Z, about 30, 45 minutes before your service?
There's a 45-minute arrival window.
Okay, about a 45-minute arrival window. That helps us to kind of get everything, to get you from the parking lot, to get you through the checkpoint. We've kind of expedited some things. Our team is really on it. I'm so proud of the changes we made and the things we've done to really work hard. And so to get you from parking lot to your checkpoints to your seat, give yourself that time and that space, not just to start service, but also when we end service and what that looks like. So here's a question for Woods and Z. This has been asked too. What happens if someone's temperature is high? What happens if we reach capacity and people show up and they trying to get in? Hey, I didn't register, or someone doesn't get through protocols. What would you say, Rem Woods?
Well, there's very politely and a loving, God-fearing way, with a halo over my head, I would say, I'm sorry, but we cannot allow you into the premises because, your temperature is such that it would be a concern health-wise. Now, the good thing about it, Pastor, again, I think we're great community partners. We partner with our medical ministry. So it's not like we will just be making this decision off the cuff, right? We have professional people there that will be able to help us to make that decision. But at the end of the day, though, we would not want to take that chance that you could spread, if that was the case, COVID to someone. So it's our responsibility to navigate that at the door. But we will do it in a loving way. And we have a great congregational team that I promise we will check on you and we'll love on you. But it'll have to be it would have to be outside of the building, unfortunately.
Yeah. And that's tough and that's hard. Those are real questions. We're hoping we don't have to deal with that. Our aim is that if you sign up to come into worship, that you'll get to experience it. But we have to guard ourselves and we have to make sure that we're, and this is one of the things that has really bothered me about the pandemic, is that it has exposed how self-centered and selfish we can be. This whole process is never about ourselves. What we can talk about is we are called to love. Jesus gave this directive. He says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that's in everything. That was not a statement just in certain spaces. It was really how we should live our lives. And I really believe that's what we're trying to do. In the processes and protocols is we got others outside of ourselves to really think about, which means that I'm not just coming into the space so that I'm comfortable and I can get my way, but I'm coming to the space because also I'm grateful to have an opportunity to worship publicly and corporately with others. And I want to make sure that they're safe, they're taken care of, and they're provided for as well. There's a couple of controversial things that I raise this as well, because I think this is what people have been asking. Now, we have been advocates of the vaccines, no doubt about it. We're a vaccine site. And, we have really went back and forth about how far we could go when it comes to vaccinations, what it means to mandate vaccinations, and those are still muddled waters when it comes to legalities. There's a lot about, can you mandate it in those kind of spaces? So we kind of really had to walk a tightrope and a fine line. I will tell you, based upon the information, we've been advocates from the beginning of the year. I believe in the science. I believe in a lot of our doctors here locally who have gave us some great information to really push us with the advantages of what the vaccine can bring. And so we've been really advocating, and most of our team and everyone else, they understand how important we are. We want to make sure that people are safe. But as of now, there is no vaccine mandate to come to church. My prayer is that you would be as safe as possible. I pray that each of you would make the right decision for you and your family. And barring, to me, that means barring any other major health issues that would prevent it, that you would really see it. I think there's good information. You're right, it's new information, but I think there's good information out there for us to realize that this is our best move forward. As I've been telling people, it's not if, it's when we become exposed to it. That's why I made the statement that we are slowly creeping to moving beyond a pandemic to an endemic. So this is something that, unfortunately, because we lost this in the first quarter, because of our unwillingness to kind of tackle this in a unified manner, that this is something we're going to have to live with. And so until we get to that space, and whenever that is, I don't have any idea. God hadn't shown me that yet. We got to learn how to live with it. But as of now, we've really been highly encouraging those to get it. But it's not a mandate for you to attend worship. Those are some thorny kind of legal things that are happening right now. And we have at this point, no kind of thing to put in place to mandate vaccines for you to come and worship. Because regardless if you're vaccinated or not, everyone has to adhere to the protocols. That's face mask, that's registration, that's social distancing. So those things are going to be how we have to operate. There's not a vaccine only, section. We don't have that. But I want you to be as safe as possible and protect yourself as best as possible. That's how we're operating and moving forward. I'm hoping to see these numbers continue to rise. We've been in constant conversation with our local hospital administrations and stuff. And, we still have our ICUs are full and still have concerns for kids, that number rising. And now I just heard that, some of our school systems have made the decision to relax some of the mask mandates, and we'll see what that looks like. But at this point, we don't. So that's where it is. We just want you to be there. We want you to be safe. And we're going to do everything as possible to do it. Now, people are asking, why now? And Trey, I know you've been asked this a lot. Why now? Initially, we would think about the 5th Sunday of August. But when school came back, the Delta variant and the Labor Day approaching, we just felt at that time it just was not right. So why now October? I tell people, I really feel I've kind of settled in my spirit. There is no perfect time. There's no perfect time. And I'll be honest, if it wasn't now, I'm not sure if we would have even considered it before January 2022. And so I finally had to settle in my spirit. If y'all remember, as we started this year, this is the year of expansion. I preached a sermon on Joshua chapter 3, talking about crossing the Jordan. And God brought it back to my remembrance that when they crossed over the Jordan into Canaan, it came during flood season. It's not the perfect time. It's not the most opportune time. It was not the time that many would assume would be the best time, right? But there was no best time. It was just time to cross over. And so we've been in much prayer about it, much conversation about it. Thank you to our servant leaders and our team who've really been giving great insight, prayer, and really trust in this moment to make a decision. There's no perfect time. And so whether other churches have started, others have been back, others are still waiting, we felt we had to make a decision based upon the best information we had at Tabernacle. And just as we've done, our whole posture has been, we're going to kind of do what's best for our congregation, our context. And that's what brings us to this point. So is there any final questions you got, Z, Trey? What else? Anything that you want people to know? We're getting ready to kind of miss up. Am I missing any questions? Anything that I want to make sure that I'm touching on that we can have? Z, anything that questions that we thought of that we perhaps I missed? I want to make sure I'm covering as much as possible.
Giving, joining.
Yeah, so it will be a little different. So when you come to worship, things will be a little different. We've had to change up some things. Communion will be this Sunday, and at Global and in person. So whichever way you are going to worship with us, it's going to be we're going to have it. It's going to be a little different. If you come to our worship experience, we've had to kind of make some changes about how communion is going to go. So it'll be a little different. It's placed a little different, but it's still going to be worshipful. Still going to be a sacred moment. Giving is going to be different. Our giving has moved to almost where we're all doing electronic giving. And when you come, we're going to encourage you, if that's the way you've been giving, to move that way. But also there will be no walking when it comes to our offerings. But we have strategically placed drop boxes. So if you already have your envelope, you're going to be given certain things when you come into the worship experience. You're going to have that. You can go ahead and drop your giving off before service on your way in, or you can drop your giving off afterwards. These are secure drop boxes that you can know you can have it. And also, when you come, we're working with our assimilation process, our connection process, our welcome process. So now it's really going to be a virtual experience, even while you're in person, which means you're going to see a QR code. How many of you know when you go to the restaurants, they rarely have paper anymore, right? You put that QR code is on the table. Well, here you're going to have it behind the chairs, also on the screens, so that you can connect, whether that's connecting in partnership, connecting and knowing more about our church. And so that's going to become one of the things that we do as far as how we do connection when it comes to our church as well. So those are going to be some of the things that you're going to experience. What else am I missing? Was there any other kind of last minute things we can that you can think of? I want to make sure that I'm covering as much as possible in this moment.
Yeah, I think you're hitting on it, with simulation and offering. And I just think people just come with the expectation that we are going to worship, but just expect, if we're missing some things tonight, just please, as Pastor mentioned earlier, just give us a little grace, because it'll be a different experience for you. During the worship experience, I think some people ask, you won't be able to take your mask off. I know people like to shout.
So wear a comfortable mask, but it has to be an effective mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, so don't like a t-shirt around your face. We need you to have an approved face mask. You'll be amazed what I've seen. I've been traveling, so I've been on these planes and airports and stuff, and I'm amazed at what people call face mask. I just really am. And so also, our medical team also has to make that decision. We'll have some, if some are not deemed appropriate, we'll have some masks for you to that we can make sure that you can have covered. We want to make sure that. So, but the masks don't hinder your worship. So just got to learn we got to kind of work through it. So that's going to how to do it. And how you do it, Trey? Make the worship face. I love it. That's it. So you can still do it with the mask on. You can still do it with the mask on. Trey, anything else you want to say, finalizing or coming to conclusion? I want to make sure I'm covering.
I just want to iterate that we do want people to participate in worship. We want them to give us their energy. We want them to be vocal as they can. I mean, in a mask, and that it's just important for both me and Pastor that you guys give us the energy of having a live audience, because this is going to be awkward enough, I think, with the changes that have been made to worship, and just with all of the changes that have happened in terms of coming into the house. I think that it's important that people come with a mindset to give God glory, period, and to have a great expectation for a move.
Yeah. Help us. It's gonna be it. We've kind of planned our services to be between 60 to 75 minutes. Y'all give us some grace, because I'm probably going to be the long one. Listen, they laughing. I probably am. I ain't seen a lot of y'all. So I need to spend time talking to you. So they already know. Y'all give me some grace when you come back. I'm going to try to get you out in good time. I promise you. I'm going to try to give you the word. I've been really praying and meditating, but man, I'm going to be so excited to see you. I don't know what I'm going to do. It's going to be so crazy. So y'all just y'all help me. Y'all rock with me. But we're going to try our best. We've kind of made our services to be very impactful and worshipful within, 60 to 75 minutes. Also, I saw Brenda Hall put something that was important that we didn't even know about. We can't even give out fans. We had one during our one of our practice services. We had people fanning, and our medical team was going crazy. They were like, "You can't do that. You can't do that." It was like, "Can't do what?" And they were like, "Fan, because you're spreading stuff." And we're like, "Wow, that is stuff you don't even think about." So we had to limit those. So our facilities team is working hard to make sure that the sanctuaries are comfortable. Yes. So dress comfortably. I'm always telling people how to come dress comfortably. I'm gonna be comfortable. I promise you. Staff won't let me wear a suit till next year. So y'all blame them, but they want to be comfortable. And honestly, it's so funny. People wonder, why do we kind of go more to this casual look which was kind of different for us. We always kind of came. Well, when we was in a virtual space, it was just easier to navigate it. And I really want to model from the stage what we want you to be. Now, if it's your thing, you ready to come back to church, it's first Sunday, you want to put on your Sunday go to meeting, put on your Sunday go to meeting. Come on. Yes. I can already see Mother Trey's grandma wearing a hat. I already see it. I see it. I see it already. She ready. I already know she ready. So I want you to be comfortable. Come as you want to. Just know from the stage perspective, we're going to be comfortable. There's a lot of movements for us. This is going to be an adjustment for us. I'm trying to get my wind together. Most folk are laughing. Me and Trey been pushing one another. I had to get back in shape. Preaching in front of people is different. How would you feel, Trey? Even singing in front of people is different.
Oh yeah, it's a whole nother level of energy.
Yeah, I had to lose. Yeah, I had to lose 20 pounds. I was so winded in front of people. I was like, I said, I can't do this. I had to really get serious. People know I had to get serious. My staff was laughing. I changed my diet up, got a Peloton. I was like, yo, I gotta get back in shape. I prepare for preaching, not just mentally, not just spiritual, but also physically. So we had to get into this way of just trying to do that. Trace really had to work on it because it's going to be a shift for us from going from the 2 we were doing to 4, which is going to be a lot, and then have to figure out, is that too much or not enough? So we'll figure that out. So y'all pray for us, and we're praying for you. I'm excited. Can't wait to see you. Any final words, Wood, Z, and we'll wrap it up and share that. Thank y'all for jumping online with us tonight. Thank y'all for just being patient. Man, we miss y'all. We love y'all. I can't say that enough. I'm excited for homecoming. Matter of fact, it's going to be themed out. So this Sunday, if you register to come, and once again, there's still time. Registration closes at midnight tonight for our services on Sunday. I think this Sunday is a kind of tabnalia, rep your church, come back. It's homecoming. So it's going to be an interesting theme. I'm kind of excited. It's really, even from a preaching standpoint, we're putting, I'm kind of using some familiar kind of Black college, Black TV show, Black movie themes, right? So, this Sunday, it's a different world, that's a sermon. And so this week is going to be tabnalia, rock your tab stuff. And so we want you to come and groove with us, have a good time. You got sermons coming out, next week. I think it's going to be Stomp the Yard. We're going to have some fun this month. We're going to get this back. You got served. Y'all remember some of that. Higher learning. We're going to kind of rock with it. So every week is going to kind of be themed. So be on the lookout from our marketing team. They should be getting that graphic out so that you know how to prepare each week. And so we're just going to have homecoming. We're really going to enjoy it. One another, we're going to have do the right thing. We're going to really enjoy. It is also stewardship month. So there's a lot that's happening, but we need your prayers. We need you to be prayerful. We need you to be patient, and we need you to be positive. That's what we need. And so I'm excited, ready for all y'all. Z, anything else? Woods, anything else?
Express timeliness.
Timeliness. Please be on time, guys. Yes. Yes.
Them doors
yes.
5 minutes before service starts. Please.
Yes. You got a 45-minute one. Please don't be showing up 7:30, 9:15. Guys, I'm trying to tell you now, we need you there on time. So do what we do first day of school, right? Like you put your clothes out night before, and be ready to roll. This ain't club times. How they say the club start at 10, you can show up at like 11:30. We need you there on time. We need you there on time, before time. I know I saw, what movie was that? Who said that? Being early is on time, and being late is on time, or something like that. I don't even know how to say it, but it is what it is. So be on time, guys. Please rock with us so that you can be with us. So look, I look forward to it. I look forward to seeing y'all. We miss y'all. I mean, I can't even express to you. So once again, it's Remerge. We're coming back, homecoming back at the Tab. So this Sunday again, Tab Global is still rocking. So 9, 12, 30, and 5. Our Tab Global fam, we want to see you there. But also in person is back. 7:15 Main, 9 o'clock West, 10:30 Main, 12:30 West. That's right. Homecoming, y'all. Y'all remember that? It's homecoming, y'all. And we enjoy all that. So we're going to have some fun. I look forward to seeing y'all. Love y'all. Be on time. Registration closes tonight at midnight. This is Friday. So look forward to seeing you. All right, that's it. Peace. Take care. Holla.